Mic test, test, test.
All right, I want to welcome everybody to the Mississippi Advisory Commission on Marine Resources meeting for Tuesday, November 18th, 2025. Let's see here. Commissioner Mayfield, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
I want to make mention that Commissioner McClendon and Commissioner Osborne are both joined the meeting via Teams. And General, do you want to lead us in a prayer, sir?
Yeah, and before we get started, we want to thank everybody for what you're doing, and this country's in a great place. We're moving good forward, and I tell you what, we had a great thing this morning with legislators, and so it just tells us that our legislators are looking at us, and everybody's looking at what we need to be doing. So we're very thankful for God to be able to let us do this. Let's go to the Lord, please. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you. We're so blessed. We've been blessed every day. And it's all by your grace and not anything for us. from us. Lord, we know that we try every day to do the best that we possibly can with this agency and with this commission and try to make the best possible decisions that we can for the resources and for the people in the state of Mississippi. And we just ask that you just give us the leadership and the guidance and let us use that guidance that you give us to make the right decisions. We ask this in Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Director. We have the approval of the minutes for October 21st. Are there any questions on the minutes from October 21st? If not, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
All those in favor? Aye. All right. All right, moving on to the approval of the agenda. Has anybody got any questions on the agenda? If not, can we get a motion to approve?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. All right, Director. It's all yours.
All right, I got it on now. Okay, first off, if you have any public comment, TJ, I think's in the back there, so make sure you get it to him. We have one right here. And I think it's not with anything to do with what's on the agenda. All right, let's see. Oyster season update. Right now, I just got this in. It says that our daily sack limits are 15 for tonging and 20 for dredging. We opened the area on the 13th of October, and we have 11,379 total sacks have been harvested, averaging 367 sacks per day. 142 licenses have been sold to date, 74 resident, 31 dredging, 31 resident tonging, 23 non-resident tonging, 5 non-resident dredging, and 9 recreational. Most of the harvest activity is occurring in areas 2A and 2F, and harvesters are reporting dense oyster clusters with a wide range of size. Most are able to get their daily quota with a moderate effort, and though culling was needed. The next thing is the on bottom and leases, but what we'll talk about with that, if you just, the oyster leases, right now, everybody seems to be wanting to fish one area, and that's because it's the closest thing, and it has plenty. But Henderson Point, and tell me if I'm right, Rick, has got about 40,000 sacks of oysters that we can harvest off of Henderson Point that has had hardly any harvest off of it. So there's plenty of room for them to move. If they want to move to Henderson Point, they can move to Henderson Point and do it. There's a lot of question about closing some areas in 2A and 2F. But if we close one part, we have to close it all. So I think what we'll do is leave it open and tell them to use their judgment. And Eric, am I right with that? We leave the whole area open and let them use their judgment as where to go. They know, if their oysters are getting smaller, and they're having to call too much, then they'll go somewhere else and they'll figure it out. So that's where we're at. Any questions on that? But right now, 11,000 of the 82,000 that we have projected. So we're doing good. We're doing the best we've done in a long time already. We've already exceeded last year. So, with this just 1 month. So that's pretty good. And I think we'll see more. And I think that it provided the good Lord gives us decent weather and no more and nothing major as far as rains and stuff, because every time we get a lot of rain, it does, close a lot of those areas. But hopefully we'll get some area to be able to continue. Any questions on oysters? Okay, on the on bottom oyster lease program, one of the things that we're doing there is I talked with the senators and this morning and the House members, and I talked to them about what we're doing and how we need to look at it. And because of the judge's ruling that it was unconstitutional to do it the way it was, we got to look at it. And so they're amenable to do that. And I don't remember which Senate bill it was, but we will be able to take that Senate bill. And that's one of the things I gave to the governor's office the other day, that we want to modify that Senate bill. And we're going to look at it. We'll sit down with the legislatures and see what we can do with it. Our goal is to try to keep as much as we possibly can of what we call traditional reefs, because they seem to be plentiful and we're having them and we're using them and the people are harvesting them. And so if that works, that's great. But we do have some reefs that we would be willing to look at to be able to lease and everything else. And so let's see where we go with it. Let's just talk with the senators and the House members and we'll see where we're at with that. Any questions? 2019 Bonnie Carey, we're moving right along. We out of the grant for program and for new and emerging seafood processing technologies, we had right at 3.7 million. 92% of those funds have been distributed to 23 of the 24 applicants. So everything is good. We're moving forward. And so we're getting that, and that's to be able to put some new technology in and some other things, especially with all the processors and all, and being able to update what they have. And so that helps us a lot to be able to do that. Any questions on it? All right. As far as the 2020 Bonnie Carey, we have $3 million, and we're working on it right now. Applications opened on May the 2nd and closed on June the 30th. All necessary payments information has been submitted to finance for eligible wild harvest oystermen to receive $10,000 and shrimp fishermen to receive $7,500. These 275 applications were submitted, 255 payout agreements have been sent to applicants, and 200 recipients have signed agreements to receive their payment. And we have one appeal in the process right now. We're looking at, one of the things is also that they will probably be a supplemental to this, and it will be where that if we'll try to, instead of just paying per license, that we pay per boat, and with a license. And so we're trying to be able to do that, and that'll come out as quick as we can. I know that Tracy and all of them are working hard on that, and hopefully we'll be able to give some more money to the fishermen themselves. Any question? Okay, moving right along. Seafood Task Force meeting. We had a task force meeting on the 10th of November, and it was a good meeting. We talked about what we're going to be able to do. We're still trying to get an idea of exactly how to label the seafood. In other words, one of the things is exactly what do we do and what do we tell the Senate and House to put in the bill and House Bill 602 to be able to update it to say that you've got to, if you have a restaurant, this is how you have to do it. So we only do it one time and not make these restaurants keep doing it over and over and over and changing their menus and costing a lot of money. So hopefully we'll get there. We've had some concerned citizens that thought that we wasn't enforcing enough. Well, we understand their thoughts, and we're trying to enforce it. And but the point is, I don't want to enforce something on one person and turn around and find out we're going to do it different a month later. That's not the way to do business. I want to make sure that we're doing it right. So what I want to do is give them an opportunity to let us get this put together. The House bill, when it was signed, we knew it was a bill that would take some time to get everything just right on. And that's why they put the task force together, to be able to do it. So give us time. And I appreciate everybody's help. And if you're out there in the restaurant, seafood business in any way, do your best you can to make sure that you tell people whether it is import or domestic. That's all we're asking you to do right now. And then we will get with you as soon as we can and get you exactly the details. Some of the things we're looking at is there's some federal bills that we got to look at and find out, especially when you're talking about frozen seafood that comes into the seafood restaurants and stuff. We got to be able to figure out how to make sure, because it says that you can label it by the country and you don't have to put import in or domestic on it. And it also says that you can label it with a little bitty small letters compared to big letters. But now Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith has a bill in the Senate right now that she's putting forward to say that we're going to change that to everybody across the country, all across America, that if you have seafood that way, it has to be labeled. It can use the country of origin, but it's got to be the size as what it is. It says shrimp, it's got to be the same size. So she's trying to do that for us, and we appreciate her efforts on it. Any questions on it? Okay. We'll have another meeting, I think on the 8th. Is that right? Yeah, 8th of December. So hopefully we'll get some stuff together and be able to get that to the House and Senate first part of the year. GOA meeting in last week in Sandestin, in October in Sandestin was good. We did good. We basically, things are moving forward. We're just trying to make sure that that we keep the estuaries going. They're trying to help us some more with some more derelict vessels. And so there's another couple of $1 million sitting out there that we can probably get part of to help us with derelict vessels. And I can tell you, we'll talk about that in a minute, but derelict vessels, Mississippi doing pretty good. We're a long ways in front of everybody else. Any questions on that? CFOA was a fantastic meeting. We had a great meeting with CFOA on October 25 through 29. Being a part of that was great. We're lucky to have had a chance to do that. It was about 600 people from 15 different states, and got to meet a lot of directors from the 15 states, and got to talk to them and talk to them about what they're looking at with their agencies. And we do appreciate Lynn Posey, the Director of Wildlife, of inviting us to be a part of that. And we'll look at it in the future. Wildlife thinks we need to be a part of it forever. I got to figure it out. I hadn't figured. There's only 4 states that have separated like we are. And I know 3 of them. That's us, Florida, and North Carolina, and I'm not sure who the 4th one is, but there's 4 states that do that have a marine resources separated from wildlife. Most of them are all under one bundle, whether it's the Commission of Natural Resources or whatever, like Alabama or Louisiana and all, they have one, but and Texas the same way. But we'll see what happens, and we'll look into it in the future and see how we think and see where we need to be a part of it. But we do appreciate it, and got to give a lot of people a lot of good seafood in South Mississippi, and so there's some people from all over the southern part of the United States going home talking about Mississippi and about our great seafood. So I thank the team that did a hard work there, and they all did a great job. Thank y'all, the cooking team. Any questions? Gulf State's annual meeting, we had it on the 27th through the 30th, and everything's fine there. Once again, we're moving forward. Gulf State's is doing a great job. We're trying to do now that the government is back open, we can not have to worry about the situation. We were concerned at one time and as to whether or not we were going to be able to do the side-by-side as far as our MS Krill. And we were concerned about that because we were concerned that they was going to have the funds, and we worked out something with Gulf States to be able to handle that, and to make sure that they didn't have to stop doing it while the government was shut down. And this worked out, and we were able to front them a little bit of money, and they'll turn around and give it right back to us now because it's coming back, and it's as soon as they can get it, their pay voucher stamped and washed, and they'll bring it back to us. But it didn't stop anything, so we were able to continue to do what we were doing, and we'll continue to be able to finish that. And we can ask Trevor I don't know if he's up in a little while, but if we don't, we'll get him back up. But we can ask him if we got any questions on that. So if you have any now, we'll ask Trevor to come up. If you have any questions on it. All right, Trevor, you got off the hook that time. All right. Next commission meeting. Gulf Council was 3 through 6. I tell you, we've been a lot of meetings in November, and we just had it and it was a good meeting. Everybody was tickled to death. We got big accolades once again because of everybody, and we thank y'all for helping us with some of the beverages. Thank you for that, and we appreciate the help on it, and we also appreciate the help of cooking. We had some great cooking, and we appreciate that for a lot of people that did that. And I tell you what, they went home again saying, "No, wherever we go, we can top what Mississippi does." Mississippi always shows them the best food and the best hospitality. I'm not sure any of them won any. Well, I did. A couple of them won some money in the casino, so they were real happy. But they was probably more unhappy than they were happy. I'll just put it that way. But they had a good time. All right. Any questions? All right, next meeting, we're going to try to do it on December the 16th in Jackson County. And unless something changes it seems like every time we pick one off at another county, something comes up and we have to be in Biloxi that morning. And so, well, right now we're good. Is that good with everybody, December 16th in Jackson County? Okay, it'll be at the Board of Supervisors boardroom. Derelict vessels, we have 222 derelict vessels have been reported, 194 have been removed, 28 are pending removal, and 3 are in court order. I tell you what, that's pretty good. If you want to ask anybody in the world, that is about as good as you get when it gets to something with the derelict vessels and what we're doing. So we want to thank Stephen and Rory about it, because Roy and Stephen are the two that's been the catalyst behind this all the time. So thank y'all for that. Any questions on that? All right, employment contracts. We don't have any, I don't think, do we? And we don't have any procurement, so we're good. All right, how about actions update from prior meeting?
Good morning, Commissioners and Director. Discussed at the October 2025 meeting, the Commission recommended, the Director approved a motion to recommend the approval of the reissuance of the pre-approved variance for projects meeting the parameters and limitations of MDMR's waiver for living shorelines in the Mississippi Coast wetlands. In addition, there was a motion to recommend approval of the following state saltwater finfish records. Under conventional tackle, there was Trevor Moncrief's 2-pound, 1.6-ounce Gulf flounder, Marshall Slay's 14.4-ounce anchor tilefish, Scott Thibodeau's 2-pound, 13.6-ounce silk snapper, and finally, under all tackle, Cooper Wrightson's 12.8-ounce Spanish flag. And that's all the actions update we have for today.
Okay. Any questions? All right, we don't need any motion or anything on any of those, right? We're good. Well, other than that, I think that's everything I have, and we wish all of you a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you for the update, Director. I'm excited that you guys were able to keep everything moving along with the Creel stuff. That's good. I would hate to get delayed on that, so all the work that's been involved in it. So, do the commissioners have anything to report today? I think he's got it all. Yeah.
We're in the process. Rick, do you have an update on it? I know we're in the process of trying to get an online license for commercial.
Yeah, so we and we presented to the commission a while back. We got awarded those with those Bonnie Carey funds. Included in that, the 2019 money, there's about $400,000 that we allocated specifically to build an online commercial license and charter for hire license. Also, a recreational crab, oyster, and shrimp license. So currently, right, the only place you can get those is at our office, as you mentioned. So we have the funds available. I know that Brian Sherwood with IT has been working to try to figure out a way to do it. My recollection is that we were trying to piggyback off of the Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks when they updated their system. I don't know if you're familiar with all the snafus they've had with it, but it's been pretty significant. So we opted to kind of sit back and see where that is or where that's going. But I'm not sure of the specifics as to why we can't just hire somebody out and get a system going. It seems to us, it seems pretty simple, but I know there's a lot of things in the IT world and the procurement with state contracts that we may not really fully understand. So we are working on it. It's taking a lot longer than we wanted to. We got awarded those funds, like I said, 2.5 years ago. I really wanted to do it at that time, but we're trying to get that done. We just keep hitting snags as far as I know. And what people don't realize, or a lot of people don't realize, when you have things like a recreational crab license, shrimp license, I'm not gonna say oyster license, those are, you have to be pretty dedicated to get one of those. But a recreational crab license, anybody that has a camp down here or just coming down here for a weekend vacation, if they don't get to our office by the time we close on Friday, they're not gonna get a license. That's one of those things. It's a $5 license. That's one of those things that we're trying to You know, there's 700 or 800 of those licenses out there, so that affects a lot of people. And I think some of the problems that we've like, encountered is there's a lot of fees attached to it. So when you have a $5 license, but you attach a $3 fee to it, I mean, it is a convenience fee, but we're trying to work out some of that stuff.
Well, and I talked with Lynn Posey with Wildlife the other day about this. And he thinks that the kinks are about worked out with what they're doing. I mean, anytime you go to a new program, you're going to have kinks, and he thinks that he's got them pretty much worked out. I don't know, once again, like Rick said, there's a fee, but I think no matter what we do, we're going to wind up having a fee, and the fee's going to be tacked to it. And once you buy something like that, they're going to put extra money on it. I don't know how we're going to get around that. The other thing is that I got a concern is that, getting somebody to write a program's one thing, maintaining it's another. And being able to maintain that program and have the funds to be able to do it, we've got to have a mechanism to show that of how we're going to maintain that. Where if we go in with Wildlife, and the problem with Wildlife too is they have very little commercial. And that's the thing that's hard for them to be able to adjust to because they're all recreational. They have just a small amount of commercial. So what we're trying to do is trying to find a way to get into that to where I still think that if we could do it with Wildlife, that would probably be the best way to do it because there's a program already set and we would just add to a program rather than invent a program. But there's programs out there too that other states are using that we could probably piggyback off of. And I understand, and there may be something, Rick, that we can look at, especially during the time of when we have the mass amount of people buying license, that we set up something like in Pass Christian at the check station to buy license also at the same time, that we double stack people so that the people don't have to drive all the way to Biloxi every time to buy a license. And until we can get something, it seems like probably 80% of them are coming out of the Hancock, West Harrison County. And so that might be something that we could look at. And that might be something that we could do, and which is usually around what, April?
April the 30th is when
Yeah,
those commercial
somewhere around there, so we could maybe put somebody over there from the middle of April to the middle of May or something like that, and help a little bit. And but that's not going to eliminate the issue that we have with the person driving in and out. Well, I can tell you, Commissioner, everybody doesn't have that same opinion. And, paying $3 extra on a $5 license is all, and they rather than spend $4 worth of gas, they still see it as a negative. And they could, but they're going. But we'll look at it, and and I agree with you. In the world today, we ought to be able to do something. We got funds in the program to be able to do it, and we ought to get it done. And I think the biggest thing that's been held up is by trying to wait on Wildlife. And let's see where we can go with that, Rick, and let's put it on a process. We've been trying to get this money out to everybody right now, so that's been priority.
That has been a priority for the overall grant, but just know that it's been our priority since before we got this money. That's why we asked for the money to get up to the 21st century and then get these online license sales going. So we're trying and we want it just as much as the stakeholders do, I can assure you.
Thank you, guys.
I stay on them every day about getting this funds out for the fishermen right now, and the funds out for these processes for people to update their process and all, because I feel like that's the most important part, and so it's probably my fault because I hadn't put as much emphasis there. But with the amount of people we have, I'm trying to make sure that people get paid first, and then I'll.
All right. Appreciate it. Looks like we're moving down to Office of Marine Patrol, report on citations.
Hey, good morning. I'm Will Freeman. I've been tasked with answering any questions you may have regarding this month's report. The,
Talking about when they, somebody towed an oyster boat in that broke down.
that's correct.
I,
That activity is prohibited on the reef during the open season. And the office was not given any notification that the vessel broke down, and essentially the fisherman committed a violation. They can be, the normal, the custom there is that they notify the officer at the check station that they're having mechanical issues. We'll assist if we can, but if they're getting towed in by another vessel, we'd like to be notified. Otherwise, it's going to be a violation.
Will, explain that to him. I think Chief tried to explain it to me, and y'all can explain to him. Basically, what it amounts to is if you don't know what's going on out there, and you see two boats still working out there, and especially in this time, it was when we closed at noon, I think, and this was after that time, you know, when it's closed. They don't know if they're fishing. They don't know what they're doing at that point, and they're trying to, I mean, I kind of remember what he was talking about.
The regulation that is in question here prohibits a vessel from being towed in or towed out over the reef. Now, the reason for it being towed is irrelevant involving the violation. But we've had vessels that have been towed in or towed out that broke down, mostly towed back into the harbor. But we've been given plenty of notice that that was happening. Historically, we've had some vessels that were towed out to go fishing that were not mechanically sound. They weren't functioning. That's a violation of regulation. Yes, so there's a lot of people that are new to the industry this year, a lot of new faces. It's a learning curve for a lot of folks. It's highly advised they notify the check station, and they'll notify the enforcement officer on duty. No, I've towed in countless of oyster boats in 20 years.
Captain, I got a quick question, and I think would be directed to you guys or Rick, one or the other. But as far as like a recreational fisherman, I know the float plans are available for the for hire charter guys. Do the recreational guys, they have the same opportunity to file a float plan if they're doing an overnight trip?
Yes, they have an
Is it?
opportunity to, but there's no legal requirement for it
Okay.
on a recreational trip.
So with a float plan, is if it's a multiple night trip and say they're cooking some of the the catch and they're bringing some fillets back and they have a float plan filed, is that legal to be able to bring it back if they have it filed in that way?
You're talking about just a regular Joe Blow off the street going
Just
out.
recreational license.
Recreational
fisherman.
license?
Yeah, that's making a multiple night trip.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I can promise you that the officers are out there doing every day, everything they can to keep everybody as safe as possible. And, you know, if you're making a mistake and you didn't know it, that's one thing. And they try to work with you and try to teach you how to not make that mistake again. And so a lot of these people, but no matter what, it's just like they're driving down Interstate 10 right now. Some will go 90 miles an hour, even though the speed limit's 70. So it doesn't matter, okay? And some is going to do that every day, and that's what they're doing out there. And our officers are doing a fantastic job of doing what they can to go out there and keep people in line and as safe as possible. So we appreciate you.
Thanks, Captain.
Any
Any
other
questions for Captain? Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Ms. Charmaine, Public Affairs.
Morning. The Mississippi Department of Marine Resources had 5 media mentions since the October MACMR meeting. News items included oyster season opening, fish records, and an update on the aquaculture hatchery. The Office of Marine Patrol participated in National Night Out for Hancock County on October 22nd, the Fall Festival at Westminster Presbyterian Church, and the Long Beach Police Department's Night Out Against Crime, both on October 25th. The Fire Prevention Month Touch a Truck at the Lyman Community Center on October 30th, the National Night Out Community Expo in Bay St. Louis on November 1st, and the Spanish Trail District Cub Scout Safety Fair in Wool Market on November 15th. Marine Patrol and the Shrimp and Crab Bureau both participated in the Fall Festival at St. Martin North Elementary School on October 31st. The Seafood Technology Bureau's Christina Broussard and Jillian Kraft participated in the College and Career Fair at Lumberton High School on October 22nd. Courtney Walker and the Artificial Reef Bureau served as a speaker for the Lunch and Learn Circle of Life at the MGCCC Jackson County campus on November 13th. The Shellfish Bureau's Ellen Coffin, Madison Parker, and Jason Ryder, and the Finfish Bureau's Megan Fleming participated in the Freshman Marine Aquaculture event at GCRL Cedar Point campus last Friday. Allison Faggard, Caitlin Payne, and Alicia Caron with the Office of Coastal Resources Management visited DeLisle Elementary School on October 22nd to highlight the importance of coastal wetlands. From the near, Dennis McGurry served as a virtual speaker at the Port Aransas Tourism Conference on October 22nd, discussing grant writing. Brianna Andrews brought the On the Road program to Biloxi High School on November 7th. Near Director Aisha Gray served as a speaker on art and science programming at the Association of National Estuary Programs annual meeting in Mobile on November 12th. Jessica Woodall served as a guest lecturer for Washington College's Marine Conservation class on November 13th. And then here we have the agency's cooking team cooked for the Mississippi Aerospace and Defense Symposium at Ocean Enterprise on October 23rd. The Southeastern Association of Fish and Wildlife Agencies reception in Biloxi on October 26th. The Junior Jubilee Fishing Rodeo Banquet at the Biloxi Maritime and Seafood Industry Museum on November 1st. And the Gulf Council reception also held at the museum on November 4th.
Any questions for Ms. Charmaine? All right, thank you. Appreciate it. Tidelands application update?
Hi, Sonia Slater, the Tidelands Coordinator. For 2026, our applications, well, let me tell you what the schedule's gonna be. I'm sorry, I got my slides out of line. But the schedule for 2028's applications, we're gonna start accepting them in May of 2026, and they will be reviewed in the legislative session in January of 2027. 2027 applications is the cycle that we just finished. We received 89 applications, 59 of them were public, or 50 of them were public access, and 39 of them were managed projects. We received a total number of funds requested of 34 million. We were appropriated in FY26, 6.3 million in Tidelands funds. The legislature decided not to award public access projects for this 2026 cycle, so I don't have any update to give you on those. And managed projects, we were awarded 3.8 million. We're given $1 million in prior year expenses, and we have 1.5 in bond money. I do not have the managed projects broken out for you, but we have yet to award those this time also. Questions? Thank you.
Appreciate the update. Thank you.
One thing real quick, as there was no public access awarded this year, and there's a little over 5 million, right at 5 million, I think, something like that they have. And then I think we'll probably get similar to the same amount next year. So that, and the legislatures all thought this morning that they will get this back in line, that it will be back in line to where the Go Mesa and the Tidelands be, distributed again this year. So if the projects were put in for last year, we'll have them plus this year. So we'll look at them and make sure we get the legislature. We'll give out twice as much.
Was did the department receive any of the GCRF funding that was just awarded?
No, we didn't. And, you know, it's kind of hard for us to ask for GCRF funding when we get the funds that we do with Go Mesa
Right,
and other things.
right.
And really, we didn't have a project that would fit into that. That's more for economic development.
Yes, sir.
And so that's,
All right, thank you. Trevor, looks like we got a few Finfish records. I don't see your name on there this week. Must have been busy with other stuff.
Yeah, didn't find an acorn this time. Happens. Yeah. To touch on, my colleagues answering your question, so that, that overnight float plan question has popped up a lot more in the last year and a half, 2 years. And it really has kicked off with Louisiana lowering their spotted sea trout bag limit. Because now those individuals that are transiting back and forth, Chandler and everything else have been asking more. So I would encourage, if you've got somebody that wants more details or anything, they can reach out to the office. It'll either get to me or the recreational fishing hotline, and we'll answer all the questions they have.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, so we've got it on our regulation side. It's in the brochure, the PDF, the magazine pamphlet that goes out of details, all that. But given the amount of questions we got in the last year, it might be good for us to put some specifics down on it, on the page itself, for folks planning on taking a multi-day trip or something else like that. Yeah, we'll work on that.
So if that was, when you had mentioned Chandelier, you've had some questions about that, Louisiana waters, but Mississippi waters as well. Would Louisiana guys, would they have to file their float plan with Louisiana as well, or would it just be with you
So
guys?
for our folks leaving out of here, they just have to file it here.
Right.
We don't really deal too much, and I don't think any of our fishermen have to deal with the Louisiana side with their stuff. Their regulations that are built on multi-day possession limits are based on essentially record of receipt or stay at a given camp and a launch from any area in Louisiana south of Highway 90. So they have to have an area they launch, they have to launch within the state, and they have to have either a receipt of charter or showing that they've stayed at a camp overnight. That's how
Gotcha.
their regulations work.
Okay.
All right. Finfish records. So we got a conventional tackle record. It's a rock hound. This one actually broke recently, but the new record's 4 pounds, 4.8 ounces. The angler is Nicholas Llewellyn. That is a picture of the fish. And there's Nicholas with that fish. And we've got some youth conventional tackle records. The first one was a silver perch, weighed in at a whopping 3.52 ounces. Anglers Crescent Van Cleve, they started to pick these up over in Bay St. Louis at night for a little while, so that's why that record came in. There's a picture of the fish. There's Crescent with that fish. And the last one's a Gulf Hake. This is from that deep dropping crew that's been going out, so we don't see these very often, but this was a giant at 6 pounds. The angler is James Williams. There's a picture of the fish, obviously not the prettiest one in the world. And there's a picture of the angler with the fish. And all we would need is a motion to recommend the approval of the state records.
That's when they get deep like that, Trevor, they just kind of turn into some odd looking fish, right?
I mean, the good thing about it is that most of them taste good.
Yeah.
90%
no
of
doubt.
what
They
you
do.
catch
Yeah, yeah.
or tastes real
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Cool. Okay. Any questions on the records? No?
Yeah, they've got about 5 different names, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. The old yellowfin croaker, stuff like that.
Hybrid.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
All right, I got one more plug. So you'll be seeing some information come out on our Facebook page and our website. December the 4th, we're going to have a sport fish restoration workshop. This has occurred over at the Gulf Coast Research Lab for the last few years. We're going to, MDMR is going to take it over, host it. It's going to be at the Seafood Museum starting at 5:30. It covers all of our sport fish restoration projects, some of the noted ones that we've completed over the last few years. We're going to cover the triple tail movement, the satellite tagging studies we've been doing. We've gotten some basically Gulf-wide movement of triple tail, first of its kind, to be able to highlight. We've got the preliminary findings from our cobia movement project that we've been working on, and we'll have a talk from USM on the tag and release and safe handling. and a presentation from Dr. Marcus Strymon, Mississippi State on depredation in the Gulf of America. So it should be a good time, very educational, and we've got a lot of topics that are very pertinent to our recreational fishermen. December the 4th, 5:30 at the Seafood Museum. Like I said, we'll be putting more information about that on social media and the website and all that stuff. So we're hoping to draw a crowd and let folks know what we've been working on.
Cool. Thanks, Trevor. Let's see, update on the 2025 Star Party. Miss Aisha?
Director, Commissioners. This is really just an invitation to our Star Party. It's coming up on December 13th from 5 to 9 p.m. We have a lot of, this is our biggest event of the year. It's an open house at the Near, and we have a lot of activities. So we take folks on a hayride so that they can go down to the end of at Bayou Heron and stars during the Geminoid meteor shower. So hope to see yours. Really don't, but everybody has a lot of fun anyway. But hopefully the weather will be clear. We've got crafts. There's Santa Claus. You can get your picture made with your family. You can serve hot soup. Really good time. Trying to able to come with your friends.
I like the idea that if the stars are not shining, y'all just make them shine inside, right?
That's our light tunnel.
Just take them inside and you'll show them the stars are really there.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was we've been adding things kind of every year. We have an owl walk, and this year we're going to look at moths also. And then we also have a special guest this year who's we've added. So there's another special. So we'll talk about what happened when I'm back on.
A surprise
I can't-
guest, I guess.
You want it to be a surprise?
Yeah.
So we're going to have Mrs. Claus, and she's going to be reading stories by the fire, the visual fire on the.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to have
Yeah.
fire, but we are going to have story time with
That
Mrs.
sounds
Claus.
great.
And then she's going to get her picture taken with Mr. Claus.
Oh,
Anna
yeah.
as well.
Sounds like a great party.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Well, appreciate you. Any questions for Miss Aisha?
Questions?
All right. Thank you.
All right, thanks, y'all.
If you hadn't been out there, you need to go see it. You know, Aisha and them are doing a great job. They're doing a fantastic job. And it's just kind of a hidden secret sitting here in South Mississippi, right on the Alabama line. And, you know, it's something that, especially if you got kids or grandkids or whatever, you know, it'd be something to take them out there and be able to see these things because they really teach them a lot about nature that the other people are not talking about. And it's something that's more than just fishing.
All right. We do have a public comment, but first, is there any other business? Don't think so. All right. So we'll start with Mr. Richard Heaton. Okay.
Good morning.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Richard, would you mind stating your city and your full name, please?
My name is Richard Hebden. I'm from St. Martin. But I've been in the commercial fishing industry here for over 20 years now. I have roots here in Biloxi that extend over 100 years in the fishing industry. My great-grandfather came from a little island off Brock, called Brock, off the coast of Yugoslavia at the time. And my father, he was born here in Biloxi. He is a military man, just as you, and thank you for your service, sir. So is my grandfather, my father's father. But I just have some concerns. I'm a spotted sea trout endorsement holder and have been since its existence. And I've noticed lately, I've heard from Darren Stewart told me that y'all are allowing more people to come into this spotted sea trout endorsement program. Now, it was capped off after Katrina. You had to have $5,000 in sales speckled trout prior to Katrina to get in this program. Now y'all have lowered it to $1,500 of any fish being sold to get a speckled trout endorsement. Now, from what I heard from Darren, there's over 70, well, the last time I checked a few months back, there's over 70 something people that's applied for this now and gotten into it. Prior to this, there's only like 20 something of us that was grandfathered in after Katrina. I have a lot of concerns about this. Are we reflooding the market now? My speckled trout season was closed down. That's my main staple. That's what I sell. That's my number one fish. That's what I sell. Have been for 20 years. What got me into selling here on the coast. But anyways, again, just concerns, worries that it's going to be overfished. Our speckled trout, we finally had 1 year since Katrina, BP oil spill, freshwater intrusions, other storms that's come through that disrupts our ecosystem out here. And it's just troublesome that, you know, what's going on in this industry today. And now you shut my season down. I've been without work because I fish mainly for speckled trout for 5 months now. Going into the holiday season, you know, I just want to know the fairness of this. I was denied on your, what you say, the fisherman gets monies. I got the first installment, yes, sir, $7,500, where other people, oystermen, shrimpermen, got 12 or 14,000, whatever it was. Way more than double my amount. But yeah, again, I was not eligible for the second go around for some reason. They said because us fin fishermen, speckled trout, made too much money. I haven't made over $5,000 this year selling speckled trout. Granted, this is one of the best years I've had in over 20 years, probably since speckled trout. And again, I'm worried and concerned. Are we flooding the market with more fishermen? It's going to shut my season down even earlier now. That was another thing. I thought we were supposed to shut this season down in 2 seasons, from January to July, and from July or June and July to December. Well, you shut it down 6 months on me. There was no indication that you were even going to, there was no word that we were going to be shut down for this long. It
Are
just
these
blew me away.
based off of limit, a catch limit, correct, of pounds, weight?
It's just, again, my concerns, is there a cap on this? Are y'all only going to allow so many commercial fishermen to have this spotted sea trout, or is all the businessmen and Biloxi and lawyers and doctors, are they the only ones getting these licenses so they can go out and take their buddies? I look on social media and these guys are slaughtering the trout at the islands. You can look every day this past year. It's just unreal, the amount of trout that's been caught and brought into our coast here. And to me, I think the recreational fishermen are having an impact on our commercial fishing. I believe, I know for a fact, I mean, I know people that's selling fish on the side and making money off the speckled trout. And, you know, and I know that y'all don't have enough people out there to control, you know, and stop everyone from doing it. But just the fact that, again, you're limiting to what I can do in a year's time. You're shutting me down. I was denied. I've made an appeal even for the second go around, and y'all denied me. Again, I don't get your.
I think the requirement reduced during a time frame where we were having a hard time getting the catch limit, the weight. Yeah.
Yes, prior to, you used to have gill netting or trommel nets, which y'all considered another name for gill netting. To me, gill netters, they raped our seas out here. They destroyed anything that got in those nets, whether it's turtles, dolphins, sea fly, turtle, anything, you know. But thank God y'all got rid of that, because that helped us endorsement holders, trout, spotted sea trout endorsement holders, to make a money and a living through a year. Now you're shutting me down because I had one good year and all this trout just showed up like we had gill nets again. It just blows my mind. I need some more information out of y'all, what is going on, because I have nothing. And I've tried several through the years, back when Matt Hill was the FinFish director. I've tried several years trying to contact him, left messages, as well as you, Mr. Commissioner, and I've gotten no response back from any of y'all. And again, I'm just always left in the dark and just
Now, I'm sorry if I didn't respond because I usually try to respond to
been
people.
suppressed that I've had to say something today.
Yeah, I usually try to respond. I'm sorry if I didn't. I don't know how I missed that because I usually try to respond.
Several times.
But here's the couple things. Back several years ago, we wasn't catching anywhere near the quota. And that was when we looked at it, and that was when it was brought to us about possibility of changing the amount that you had to catch. And so we decided, well, we're not catching anywhere near the quota, so why don't we do this? Well, sometimes, it's just like anything else. When you do something and it gets good, then a lot of people get in it, and then the quota got caught. This is, one of the years where the quota got caught real quick. And it was a lot of people fishing, and I think it had to do with a couple things. Number one, the amount of fish. Number two, the weather that we had, being able to allow people to go out and do it. I have talked with staff about a possibility of adding more quota because, what is it, 60,000, 50,000 pounds? 50,000 pounds, and I think that we should look at that, and we should look at that and see if we could add some more quota to it. Because it's hard to take back once you've given somebody something. And so we got to look at how do we make that work? And that's what we're going to do. We're going to look at it. If it means that we need to change the requirements, yes, we'll look at that too. Because we know the idea was to catch the quota. Now we're catching the quota. Now let's figure out what we need to do to maintain that and keep people fishing year round to do it. And that's what we need to do because we need to fish year round. We don't need them just 4 months out of the year.
We need local trout, not imported trout.
That's right.
to places.
Yeah, and we need that. And
We have no fresh speckled trout here on this coast for the last 5 months.
yeah, and as far as your the second round, we wasn't allowed to give anything but to shrimp and oyster. So if you didn't have a shrimp boat, an oyster boat, the second round, NOAA did not allow us to have any of that money go to anybody but those two fishermen.
That's very fair.
Yeah, I mean, because finfish, according to NOAA, they felt had rebounded enough and in the 2020 season, and so
They're getting the results from because
I'm just telling you where we're at. And when we sent it in, they told us we could only qualify for these two, and so we got what we could. And I'm sorry about that. And I'm going to go back again to tell you that we're the only state in the Gulf of America that pays the fishermen straight out. So I want you to know that. Florida doesn't do it, Louisiana doesn't do it, Alabama doesn't do it, and Texas doesn't do it. They only pay you back for what you spend if you want to go buy some modification for your boat or something. That's all they pay you back. So we are trying. We're trying every way in the world to give you everything we can. And we're the only state that does that. And as far as the, let's see, it was one other, I just forgot what you.
If I was a farmer in Mississippi, there's supplements that help out farmers when they have bad seasons and stuff. So why
Yeah,
can't
well,
the farmer of the ocean?
but that's called insurance, and that's what they do. They,
should help
no, I mean, the farmers that I know of, we have the farm bills and all, they have insurance against their crops, and they have insurance that are federally funded, helping to do that. And there is bills that go forward, and yes, we used everything we could. Like I said, with the 2019 and 2020, we used everything we could to help pay any fisherman at all. And that was one of the things that we wanted to do. And we did what NOAA gave us the privilege to, about what we could do. And I mean, I understand. I understand when you can't catch it. But I also, most of our fishermen are not just one-dimensional. They don't catch just one fish. They catch.
try. I go out there every day and I can't catch redfish like I do speckled trout. I can't catch flounder like I do speckled trout.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know the place, and I've been all over this. I go from one end to the other coast fishing.
Yeah.
My boats need repair right now that I'm gonna bring into Crown Leisure because my motor's bad. Because of a lot of the running around that I have to do now just to try and even make a living. I haven't sold fish 5 months.
essentially running our commission first. So we put that. Number two, one of the things you're getting on the website, start up there.
Oh, I tracked the quotas. But again, they were supposed to be shut down prior to us reaching that 50,000 pounds. We reached it at July. You shut it down for the rest of the season. It's supposed to have been separated. I mean, if we would have got to 25,000 pounds, you should have shut it down when we reached 25, not 50,000. So now we're going through the rest of the year with no income. But 1 year since the terminal nets have been. Because usually it takes 6 years after storms or anything for our ecosystems to rebuild themselves. It's Mother Nature healing itself. It takes that long for it to heal itself. And if there's any interruptions in between that, it sets it back further. Well, I should be able to.
How many what, 12 years ago, 10 years ago, anybody could walk in for $100 and buy a permit?
Oh, about
Anybody.
years ago, 6 years ago.
So there is, at least it's, they're reducing the anybody and everybody off the street. I get it that it did lessen some, but, I can't see that, I don't know if you could switch it, do 2 seasons, early and late. I don't know. Would that,
That was divided in 25 for each half.
was that something that you
Oh, it's
guys
supposed-
had implemented
wasn't
prior,
done.
Director?
Huh?
Sorry, excuse me. Apologies.
Okay. All right, we
Yeah.
got in trouble. We got to speak one at a time. Okay, all right. But anyway, yes, we'll readdress it. Once again, we'll readdress it. We got time and, before really the season starts back for next year. And we got time to look at it and, Rick and Trevor and them, let's readdress this and see where we at. Once again, we wasn't catching anywhere near the quota a few years ago. And that was one of the reasons. And as far as the ones selling them without the proper license, I can tell you what, these two gentlemen and those other 35 or 40 of them out there are trying every day to catch one of them. And if they catch them, we'll take care of it. I can promise you that. And, we're not they do everything they can to try to stop that. But it's just like that interstate and that highway patrol. He can't catch every one of us doing 90, right? He can only get a handful of them. And so that's what they're doing. They're trying hard. But I wished I could tell you something about, the supplemental. I don't think you're going to be able to, because, the appeal for that, I don't think it's going to help you any because the NOAA did not give us the funds to do that. And they just didn't give us the funds. They told us what we could do, and this is the only two that we could do with shrimp or oysters. And that's why we're there at that point. And, but we'll look at it. I can promise you that. We will look at what you're talking about, and I apologize for not getting back to you. And if you please, get my email. I will give you a card here in a minute if I got one in my pocket. It's got my email and everything. You just call it, send it straight to me, okay?
All right. Thank you, sir, Mr. Heaton. All right, I want to check back with the commissioners on teams. Commissioner Osborne, do you have any comments? Okay, Commissioner McClendon? All right, we appreciate you. I guess that's a wrap. Do we have any a motion to close?
Motion. Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you.